Money is a game. I didn't come to realize it until much later. I wish I knew. Every game has winners and losers. The first rule in the money game is the rule of secrecy. Pension is palliative. Nobody designed pension to make you wealthy. My lovely wife kept telling me that we were not wealthy, and I found that insulting. As a corporate guy in Canada, I've been to Queen's University. In 50 years, I was the first Black finance director in Canada's largest integrated logistics company. So it's not academic knowledge that will make wealth for you. The body of knowledge that creates wealth is very different. If you have those things, if you are not able to form a company around it, it will enter what is called in the School of Wealth Preservation entropy.
Welcome to Wealth on Your Terms podcast, hosted by me, Tobi Adekeye. And today we're with Dr. Wesley, who is a wealth creation and preservation consultant with over 25 years of experience. And as the group CEO of Springs Wealth Consulting, he helps high net worth professionals and families build and sustain multi-generational wealth through businesses and investments globally. So thanks for creating time, Dr. Wesley, to be here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all we're going to learn from this. I was watching a video of yours. You're talking about the money game and how people don't realize the game of money and they don't realize that there are different players. So can you expand on that? How do we ensure we're playing the right game and we win?
Great. So money is a game, and I didn't come to realize it until much later. I wish I knew. So the first thing is, why is money a game? All the elements of a game can be found in money. For example, every game has winners and losers. The same thing with the game of money. There are people who are losing with money. There are people who are winning big with money. Every game has rules of play. Okay? If you don't know the rule, you are not, the hope of winning is completely lost. Okay? We're Canadians. We love hockey. There's no way you can win hockey if you don't know the rules.
Right.
If you play soccer, if you don't know the rules of soccer, if you get into the 18-yard box and you pick the ball because you don't want your opponent to score, then you will incur a penalty as a result of your ignorance, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing with the money game. There are rules. And if you don't know the rules, the hope of winning the game is completely lost. It's hopeless. Okay. A third feature why money is a game is that every game has score.
Yes.
Okay. For example, if you play soccer, right? We can keep score.
Yes.
So you know who is winning, who is not winning.
Yep.
The same thing with money game. You have scores. Okay. And every game also has a time span within which you play it. Money is the same thing. You play money in 4 quarters. You enter the game when you are 25.
Yep.
That's when you leave school.
That's true.
25 to 35 is first quarter. 35 to 45 is second quarter, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Right. So those are the features. Then in every game, people cheat.
Yes.
And I don't have to elaborate that when it comes to money. People cheat.
Yes.
Right. But people also win legitimately in every game because they know the rules.
Yep.
They played, by the rules, and they win big.
Yeah.
So that's why money is a game. Now, your question is, how come some people don't win the money game because they don't? Well, the first thing is that they don't understand the rules.
Yeah. So what are the rules? I was going to ask.
Okay, so there are a number of rules. Okay. The first rule in the money game is called the rule of secrecy. Okay. The rule of secrecy simply means that the rules that govern the game are kept secret. So that makes a lot of people losers.
Yes.
So why is it kept secret? If you understand how money works, the knowledge of it is not taught in school.
You're right.
You know that very well.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. It's not taught in school.
Yep.
I respect our lecturers. I love academics. I've done a little bit of schooling, but how to be wealthy is not taught in school. It's kept away. Now, in the money game, that the rule of secrecy simply means that, think about it, no manufacturer will disclose their trade secret.
Yeah.
True or false?
True.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
McDonald's will not tell you their trade secrets.
Yes.
Coca-Cola will never tell you their trade secrets.
Yep.
Okay. As a matter of fact, that law of secrecy is so powerful that if you invent anything, you are allowed to keep it secret. It's called patent law.
Yes.
Do you understand it?
Yes.
So that's the first law, is that the rules are kept secret. That's why when you work in a company, my background, I'm also a certified SAP application consultant, meaning that I understand software.
Yeah.
I implement large software as a consultant. Now, when you work in a company, you're given a profile. The profile restricts you. So if you're in finance, all you can do is finance, not even the entire finance, just a portion of finance.
Right.
You will not be able to access the information in sales, in marketing, in and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So in the organization, it's kept secret.
Yes.
So it goes on and on. So if you don't understand the secret, you cannot win. That's number one rule. The second law is the law of team.
Okay.
Most people don't understand that to win money game is a team sport. Now, you can earn high income alone. I can go to work, and I went to work for many years alone, just working alone, but I wasn't wealthy because I didn't know the rules. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. It's called the rule of, team. You cannot create wealth alone. You can only create wealth through a team. So that's why you create wealth through other people's talents, other people's skills, other people's time.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that because you compensate them for that.
Right.
So the reason why we go to work is that we are part of the team creating wealth for our employer.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There's nothing wrong. I mean, the next thing for all the great things, I drove official car. I had, executive perks as a director, as an executive for many years, right? But what I didn't realize was that I didn't have a team creating wealth for me.
For you, yes.
So I relied entirely on my paycheck, where you're going to lose the game, right?
Yes.
But that has changed today. Okay.
Yeah.
Today, by God's grace, my family, we have teams in different countries.
I like that.
And as I, Warren Buffett said that if you do not learn how to make money while you sleep, you will work for money until you die.
That's deep.
Right?
Yeah.
Meaning, if you don't know how to create teams of people who work for you while you are sleeping, then you are not going to win the game. So today we have business operation in different countries. While I'm in Canada, it's daytime in that place. While I'm sleeping, the team is working, right?
Yes.
And it's not just my own personal productivity that is bringing me wealth today. It's the productivity of all the people working in those different companies.
Yes.
They're bringing wealth.
Yes.
That was what used to be my own situation where I was creating wealth for someone.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with creating wealth for someone, but you just need to realize that you cannot win the money game if you don't have a team.
Right.
All right. So that's the second law. So we've talked about the law of secrecy.
Yeah.
I'll give you one more.
Okay.
And this is very crucial. It is called the law of measurement.
Oh, what's that?
Okay. The law of measurement is that, remember I told you that every game keeps score.
Yes.
Okay. You see, you can't create wealth and you can't grow wealth. You can't manage wealth if you don't measure it.
Yes.
So when I go to conferences, when I hold wealth boot camp, the first thing, I compel them to obey that law. I ask them to measure their net worth. Okay?
Yes.
Now, if you don't know your net worth, how will you know whether you're getting richer or poorer? That is the measure of your wealth.
Yes.
That's your wealth. So when you go to the bank is not interested in your certificate. Okay?
Right, yes.
They're interested in your net worth.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, if you don't measure your wealth, you can't grow wealth. You can't manage wealth. Okay?
Yeah.
Think about it. And there is no size of wealth that cannot be measured. Okay? Now, the richest country in the world is the United States. How do we know that? We know the GDP. If you check the GDP of the US in 2024 was 28 trillion.
Yeah.
And we know the second largest economy is the Chinese economy. The difference between the Chinese economy and the US economy is 10 trillion. Chinese economy is 18. Okay?
Yeah.
28, that's 18. So we know that's the gap.
Yeah.
We know the wealthiest person in the world.
Yeah.
How do we know? Because we can measure it. See, people who don't know the rule, perhaps in your audience, majority of them may not know their net worth. So you can't win the game. You can't. Because you measure your net worth, then you suddenly realize there was, a client came and we had to put this client through measuring his net worth. And he said, I went through two emotions. I said, how do you mean? He said, I was depressed and I was happy at the same time.
Wait, depressed and happy? Why? Like,
yes.
those are two completely...
Yeah, exactly. So I said, why were you depressed? He said, well, I realized that it's been 38 years I left school. I realized that this is the net worth. It was worth less than, quarter of a million.
Yes, yeah.
38 years of leaving school.
Wow.
Then I said, okay, then explain the other emotion. Said, but my eyes are open now.
I like that.
Okay?
Yes.
You get it? It's like, okay, fine. This is not where I should be. Now, he was realizing that 38 years after he left school.
Yeah.
He had never done the exercise.
Wow.
So that is one. So those are the rules of money game. The moment you start keeping the rules, your chance of winning goes up.
Yeah. Quick one. This podcast is about wealth on your terms. And for a lot of people, that includes real estate. I'm a licensed realtor in Ontario, and I help people think strategically about how real estate fits into their overall wealth plan, whether that be buying, investing, selling, renting, or just making smarter decisions. I'm going to be there to guide you through the numbers, ensure you understand the trade-offs and opportunity costs so you can make informed decisions with confidence. So if you're interested in real estate, check the link in the description box or show notes. And while we're at it, if you're finding value from this podcast, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, don't forget to hit the follow button and give us a 5-star review. It really goes a long way and it ensures that we're able to put out more episodes for you. And I really appreciate it. Let's get back into the video. I know we'll get into this, but I really love to touch on the secrecy part.
Okay.
And what are some of the secrets that you have seen or experienced even yourself? Maybe your own journey, if we go back to when you moved to Canada and when you were working in corporate, what are things that you noticed?
All right. So one of the secrets that people don't know about wealth creation is that the things that create wealth is not about your 9-to-5 job. The 9-to-5 job will never create wealth for you. Nobody has ever been wealthy on a payroll. Nobody ever gets wealthy on a payroll. Then you can ask me, what about people who are earning, the CEOs who are earning big bonuses and that and that? Well, excuse me, it is not that earning that is wealth. I can give you an example. Okay? Yeah. Mike Tyson was earning 300 million at age 20.
Wow.
Mike Tyson. Mm-hmm. He declared he declared bankruptcy in 2003. Okay, so it's not the earning.
Yes.
The thing that creates wealth are 4 asset classes.
Okay, what are the
4 asset classes? Everyone who has been wealthy all history in every country, in every economic cycle, became wealthy through one of those asset classes. Okay. The first one is business. Why? Because business will, I'm not talking about mom and pop. I'm talking about a well-run business.
Okay.
It will make you to obey all the laws of wealth creation. For example, you can't run a business without measuring. I'm not talking about mom and pop.
Yeah.
I'm talking about well-run business.
Yes.
You can't run a successful business without measuring whether you are making profit or not.
Right.
You have a P&L.
Yes.
You have a balance sheet.
Yes.
Now, you can't run a business alone.
Yes.
That's not a business.
Right.
So you see that you will obey the law of team. You get it now?
Yes.
Right? So business is one of them. Business. Okay. And then the second one is real estate. Real estate has made more people wealthy in all of history at all times. Okay?
Yes.
Real estate. And that's my own favorites. One of,
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. The third one is commodities. Okay? What are commodities? Commodities are things that are natural. Okay, we can't do without it. This is commodity. Water is commodity, right? Natural, right? The fruit we eat, right? When we go to the mall, everything there is commodity.
Yep.
Oil, commodity. So Canada, for example, our GDP, 80% of the export of Canada is commodity.
Yeah.
So our wealth is coming from commodity, right?
Right.
All right. So commodity. So the fourth one is paper asset. Paper asset is all the shares, the stocks, and all that. Name anyone who has been wealthy. You can't find their wealth outside of those four. Name anyone. Warren Buffett is paper assets.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is business.
Yes.
You can go on and on.
That's true.
Bill Gates, business.
Yeah.
You can go on and on. So someone will ask, okay, what about, if you develop an app, or if you do, if you're an artist, or if you, I just talked about Mike Tyson, right?
Yes.
Now, or if you're an author, or you should have creative. See, if you have those things, if you are not able to form a company around it, okay?
Yeah.
It will enter what is called in the school of wealth preservation, entropy. We'll come to that later.
Yeah.
It will dissipate. Okay?
Yes.
That is why, think about Muhammad Ali. Think about Maradona, Diego Maradona. At the peak of their career, they were very, 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 in quotes, wealthy. A number of them died broke, right?
Wow, yeah.
Because when you develop an app or do some of these things, money comes your way. The money itself is not the wealth.
Okay, so what's the wealth?
The wealth is being able to generate these four asset classes.
Yeah.
You must invest that in one of these four asset classes.
Okay.
And be able to obey those rules we talked about.
Yeah.
Okay. So think about Mike Tyson. When he was earning 300 million every year, assuming that he bought a row of, properties.
Yes.
Gave the property, formed a property management company and all that.
Yeah.
After his boxing career, the wealth will still be there. The wealth will outlive him.
Yes.
If you also notice, those four things, they are the things that will outlive you.
Right. All of them, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The job will not outlive you.
Yeah.
Right. So.
No, I love that. I love that. And for your own story, coming as an immigrant, you came to Canada as an immigrant. What was there any turning points for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and your audience can relate to this because I know that you do have a lot of people who in your audience are, on that path as well. Maybe you immigrated to another country and things like that. So I came to Canada about 24 years ago. Before then, I was in the banking industry. And when I came, there was a root shock. Before then I had driver, I had, private teacher for my children and all that.
Yeah.
I'd stopped driving myself to work and all that, And I got here and I couldn't get a job. So I did what most immigrants would do. I headed back to school, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, I went back to school. I went to Queen's University to, obtain an executive MBA.
Yeah.
I did all the certification, IT certification. I became certified SAP application consultant. I did all the certification. My background is finance, so I studied finance. I became chartered accountant. So I did all of that. I was chartered from Africa, where I came from. I became chartered in Canada, chartered in the US. I kind of just ticked everything.
Yes, you did everything.
So, of course, I started climbing the corporate ladder. Okay. And I was really bent on going back to the executive rank because that's where that's always been my comfort zone.
Yes.
Always been a corporate guy.
Yes.
So when I got to the top, I wanted to have the official car again. I wanted to have all of the executive perks.
Yes.
Because before I left Nigeria, I was a member of Ikoyi Club.
Oh,
the driver would pick me and take me to Ikoyi Club, drive me back, drive children. I wanted it.
Yes.
So lo and behold, I got it. And two things were my wake-up call. The first one, I realized that I was not financially well off. Okay. I entered this income bracket that pushed me, my marginal tax was huge.
Okay.
I was paying a lot of.
Yes.
The second thing was that I didn't have freedom. Okay?
Yeah.
Let me describe what that looks like. I told you that in 24 years of coming to Canada, I've only been to Nigeria twice. Yes.
Wow.
And the second time was just July this year when I went to organize a boot camp.
Yeah.
Okay. Before then, I had only been to Nigeria, not by design. You can imagine all I said I did when I came, going back to school, that took time.
Yes.
That took time.
That's true. Yeah.
Also, I had children to raise, right?
Yeah.
I had to settle them down and all that. But more importantly, to go to Nigeria, I needed 3 weeks.
True.
Nobody would allow me to leave for 3 weeks. It was so bad that I was told that, well, in the company, I would have to, it was only the CEO that could sign off on that. So I went to the level of the CEO to obtain permission.
Wow.
And I had done that 2 years ahead of the trip.
2 years ahead.
Yes.
Wow.
And to make matters worse, when it was now time to go, my boss then was moving on, and I had a new boss I was reporting to. And she said to me, well, yes, I'm aware that there was an approval for you to spend 3 weeks in Lagos.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I've gone to do the research. Lagos, there is internet there. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your laptop with you. Tobi.
So it was like you're a slave. They call it golden handcuffs.
Exactly.
Like you.
That's what really led to that episode, that high-paying job is a golden handcuff.
Yes.
I realized I had no freedom.
Wow.
Okay. To make matters worse, my lovely wife, kept telling me that we were not wealthy. And I found that insulting. How can you say a man who is, I had this, as a corporate guy in Canada, I've been to Queen's University.
Yeah.
I've checked all the boxes.
Yeah.
All the certification, all that. In 50 years, I was the first Black finance director in Canada's largest integrated logistics company.
Wow.
So all those corporate, profile, I was mistaking that for wealth. And my wife said, no, that's not wealth. And then one day my wife came home and told me about this Nigerian guy who didn't do a lot of schooling, but has a lot of property.
Okay. In Canada, based in Canada.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Like,
at that point, did you have any property or
No,
just your primary
no,
residence? Okay.
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
In fact, my profile financially
Yeah.
is the typical profile of our clients today.
Okay.
You will see the primary residence.
Yeah.
Then you will see if they are in the US, they will contribute to 401k.
Yes.
Because that's where you push your bonus.
Yes.
You dare not touch it because of tax.
Yes,
So you
because-
push it.
Yes.
And then the financial advisors will say, oh yeah, you put it there because when you get old, right, your marginal tax bracket will come down. So you can't even touch your bonus, right?
Yes.
You push it there and that's it. So paper assets, which I had no control over.
Yes.
The return. I wasn't managing it. That was it.
Wow. Okay.
And the other thing is just to go to work. The money comes in one, and then you spend the money.
Yeah.
Before it gets into your hand, the tax authority takes
Yes.
a big chunk of it.
Right.
Was it?
Yeah. Wow.
Then I have 3 children and they were growing up and they were about to go to school.
Yes.
And there were going to be 3 of them in the university at the same time.
Oh, they're close in age. Oh, that's so much.
Tobi, that was when I realized something is not adding up.
Wow.
Telling you, so those were the things that, were my reality, calls. And I started thinking, what, I need to do something about this. And then the rest is
Yeah. So when your wife introduced you to a Nigerian real estate person, so was real estate your first move?
No.
Okay.
So she didn't introduce me to a real estate person.
Okay.
She saw somebody who bought real estate
property. Yeah.
So she said, okay, why don't we try this real estate thing?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So initially I wasn't listening.
Oh.
And then she went and dragged a realtor into, literally dragged a realtor home.
Yeah.
The realtor was the mother of my daughter's classmates.
Okay.
So they went to school, and
Yes.
they were talking informally, and she got to know that this woman was a realtor.
Okay.
I said, can you come home and talk to me and my husband? So
this is the power of a strong partner.
Yes.
Because your wife was literally the catalyst in all of these things.
Yes. Everywhere I go to speak about the subject of wealth, I always say two things. I always say, one, I'm grateful to God because you need to know my background. Without an exaggeration, I came from a very humble background.
Wow.
1% of the poorest population of the world.
Wow.
That's where I came from.
Wow.
Yeah, I came from.
Wow.
Right. So I'm always grateful to God because He picks the poor from the dust, beggar from the dunghill. And that describes me. Everywhere I go to speak, I'm like, when you talk about wealth, this guy should not be talking about wealth. There's no wealth in my pedigree. The second person I talk about is my wife.
Yeah.
Of course, this is one of many instances where she had been the catalyst.
Yeah.
So absolutely she was the catalyst. And, fast forward today, she sits on the board of our companies all over, right? In Africa, in Canada, in the US, companies are there, and she's the group executive director, right? And so I tell people that, well, I understand the man's ego, but you got to learn to listen to your wife.
Yes. So if you're watching, listen to your wife.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Listen to your wife. So I'm grateful, baby. Thank you. Okay?
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah. So let's move on to, like you mentioned, you have so many clients that come. I'm sure some of them might be immigrants, and some of them are in that category of high income, but low wealth or no wealth. How could people move from high income earner to now building wealth? What's that transition like?
All right. So to move from high income to wealth.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I did not read any of this thing anywhere. Okay.
Yeah. So where did
they
it
were
come
just
from?
my lived experience.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
And as I started studying wealthy people,
Yeah.
I started realizing that, oh wow, this is it. Now for you to transition from high income into wealth, you have to make 4 transitions. Okay.
Yeah.
The first transition is the most difficult one.
What's that?
It's the transition of your mindset. Okay.
I agree with that.
Yes.
100%.
It's the most. For example, you have heard Robert T. Kiyosaki talk about the 4 quadrants, right?
Yes.
I'll come to that in just a moment. But you've also heard him talk about the fact that, assets is something that puts money in your pocket. Liability is something that takes money out of your pocket.
Yes.
That was hard for me to wrap my head around. Keep in mind, you're talking to a CPA who has always defined an asset as your car is an asset, your house is an asset. And then this guy is like, no, your house is not an asset. I'm like, wait a minute. What are you talking about, right? So that mindset to understand that you really don't know. So you need to learn. Okay?
Yeah.
You really do not know. You need to learn. Okay? So another mindset is those who create wealth are comfortable with uncertainty. Very, very comfortable with uncertainty. Now, not that they take blind risk, but there is something called deferred gratification. For example, we all talk about Elon Musk today. The first 13 years, he did not make $1 in revenue.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And he was not sure this electric vehicle was going to work.
Yeah.
He kept going.
Yeah.
He kept going. See, that's another mindset. Okay. You should be comfortable with being able to defer gratification, invest in something and you don't see the return immediately.
Yes.
Okay. You need to be able to do that. You need to be able to understand how to educate yourself. And when we talk about education, see, again, that is one of the biggest issues around mindset. See, the neural part in our brain that deals with academics is quite different from the one that deals with wealth.
Oh.
It is, yes.
Okay.
And Robert Kiyosaki, I've had the privilege of reading virtually all of his books.
Okay, yeah.
Robert did an amazing job about describing this in one of his books. Okay. I mean, I heard you when you were talking about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, some of your recommendations and things like that. So think about his poor dad versus his rich dad. His poor dad was very sound academically.
Right.
His rich dad was not that academically endowed.
Right.
But in the game of money, the rich dad knew how to really make wealth.
Yes.
So you will see that so it's not academic knowledge or academic credentials that will make wealth for you.
Right.
The body of knowledge that creates wealth is very different. Okay?
Yes.
So you need to understand that. So I have a message on YouTube. It's called five chronic symptoms of financial illiteracy.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
So in other words, if those things are present in your life, it doesn't matter whether you have a degree in business or a PhD in business. You are a financial illiterate.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
For me, I was a chronic financial illiterate at that point in time. So the mindset problem was to accept that I was a financial illiterate.
Yes.
But how can you describe a guy who has a first degree in finance? He's been to 3 MBAs. He's been to 3 business schools.
Right.
He has like 3 accounting designations from. How can you say he's a financial illiterate?
That's true. Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
But I was.
Wow.
I was. That's the first mindset. Because everything that I learned up to then was how to work for money.
Right.
Remember, we just talked about it. I was building a corporate profile.
Yes.
I wanted to get up to the corporate ladder.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
But you just need to know that that's not the path to wealth. So that mindset is the biggest one. Another thing about mindset is the ability to invest in yourself.
Okay.
Up until then, virtually everything I did, my employer paid for it.
Oh.
So I was not used to the concept of go and pay for an online course to teach me about how to make wealth.
Yeah.
I was not,
Yes.
But that mindset changed. And if you know the amount of investment I've had to make in myself, I have hired consultant upon consultant, wealth consultant, to teach me about some of those asset classes.
Yeah.
And the first consultant who taught me, okay, and that's where humility has to come in.
Yes.
Part of your mindset.
Yeah. Especially as an African man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The guy did not make it through his first degree.
Wow.
Yeah. But that shouldn't surprise us. I mean, it's all over the place. You see school dropout, changing industry landscapes.
Yes.
We all know those stories.
Yeah.
So that should tell you something about the fact that your academic knowledge is not the same thing as your, the knowledge that will help you to create wealth.
Right.
So that's a big, so mindset, transition. The second transition is transition of assets.
Okay.
So what do we mean by transition of assets? See, when you go to work and you're earning money, 9 to 5, you are the assets that is earning the money.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That's why they say you retire.
Mm.
Okay. When you retire, it means the assets cannot earn money again. So what are you left with? You are left with pension. And in the School of Wealth, pension is palliative. You know what palliative means?
Yes.
Palliative is a word in medical science. Palliative care means that you put the patient somewhere, not to heal the patient, is to make the patient comfortable until the patient passes on. Right. That's what pension is.
Right.
Nobody designed pension to make you wealthy.
I agree with that take. And I love that you mentioned and you touched on that. I agree with it.
So it's transition of assets. What does that mean? You need to transition by creating one of these 4 asset classes that they begin to generate income that will replace your own income so that when you get to that point, then you are financially free. So you have transitioned the asset. And that is the asset that will outlive you.
Yes.
Your job will not outlive you. Long after your job is gone, you will still need money.
Right.
Robert Kiyosaki would say that, a job is a short-term solution to a long-term problem. So there's a mismatch.
Yeah.
Right? Because money is a long-term problem.
Yes.
Long after you have left your 9 to 5 job, you will still need money. In fact, you will need it more then.
Right.
So you need to transition from being the asset generating the income to one of those 4 asset classes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And that is why by God's grace, I have my freedom today. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't go to work 9 to 5 like everybody else, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why? We have 3 out of those 4 asset classes by God's grace.
Yeah.
We have real estate, generate cash flow. Okay. We have company.
Right.
Okay, a consulting company generates money.
Yes.
Okay. We have, we have paper assets, and paper assets generate money.
Yes.
So I don't have to. So that's transition of asset. If you don't transition asset, you will never be wealthy. You will work all your life and you will retire. And the worst part of it, you raise your children to replace you in the labor force. So as you're coming out of the labor force, guess what? Your son who became a medical doctor or became a lawyer, became, an engineer, is replacing you.
Yeah.
And it continues perpetually. And there's no wealth in that family.
Right.
Until somebody transitions the asset. So that's the second transition. The third transition that you have to transition is called transition of quadrants. Okay. And that came from Robert Kiyosaki's 4 quadrants, right? Yes. So when you do 9 to 5, excuse me, you are in the E quadrant.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the people who are in the E quadrant or the S quadrant, okay, self-employed, single, now they work and create wealth for the people who are in the other 2 quadrants, or the people who are in the B quadrant and the people who are in the I quadrant. Now we go back to the law, the rule of money game, the rule of team.
Yes.
They are the team members hired by the guys who are in the B quadrant.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you want to win the money game, you have to transition quadrants.
Right. Just so for E quadrants, that's employed. S is self-employed, B is business, and I is investor.
Exactly.
Just in case.
So the wealthy people, those who create wealth,
yes,
they are in the B and the I quadrant.
Okay.
And they use leverage. They leverage the time, the skills, and the money of largely of the people who are in the E and the S quadrant, because largely those people are consumers of services.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So that is the you have to transition quadrant. Now, it's not done overnight. And this is not saying go resign your job.
Yeah.
No. It's usually a journey.
Okay.
And we always, in our wealth consulting practice, we say it's a journey, but you have to start the journey. Okay. You start the journey and so that is it. Then the last transition is that you need to transition structure.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Okay. Now, when you are in the employee quadrant or the self-employed quadrant, you don't have a structure. Okay?
Yes.
What I mean by that is this. You are the entity. You don't have an entity.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. So because you are the entity, you don't have a structure. Okay? So what happens? When you go to work, you earn your paycheck. Before it gets into your hands, the government takes it.
Yes.
So your financial equation looks like this. When you are until you transition the structure, your financial equation is this: income, tax, whatever is left, your expenses.
Yes.
When you have a structure, it flips. It will be income, your expenses, and God help CRA or IRS or any other, if anything is left.
Left for taxes, yep. Yes.
That's structure.
Yes.
And it's not just for the tax, but that structure is a separate legal entity away from you.
Yeah.
So when you pass, the structure stays.
Right.
A good example is Apple. Okay. Steve Jobs passed. When he passed, he had 10 billion. His estate was, 10 billion. Wow. But Apple is still there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So it transitioned structure. So Apple outlived him. If you don't transition structure, the day you pass, everything you have is gone. And people who don't transition structure anyway, most of them, when they pass, they just have a will.
Yes.
We'll get to that. I don't want to jump ahead of myself when we get into wealth preservation. So you get those 4 transitions. Okay. You have to transition one. You have to transition your mindset. You have to transition assets. Yeah. You have to transition quadrant, and you have to transition structure. If you complete those 4 transitions, you are creating wealth. If you don't, you are not. There's no chance.
I love that. Let's just dive into the wealth preservation.
Okay.
So I know you advise a lot of people on creating multi-generational wealth and preserving it. How can someone listening who maybe has a family or wants to start a family think about how to build generational wealth and how to preserve their wealth.
All right, fine. So what do we mean by multi-generational wealth?
Yeah.
We mean that you're creating wealth that will literally outlive you so that successive generations will not repeat the journey where you started it from. That's what it is.
Yes.
Okay. And in our practice as a wealth consultant, I've had the opportunity of consulting for high net worth individuals who are professionals who today they will say to me, my father was the CEO of Microsoft.
Yeah.
My father was the CEO of, name it, a big oil company.
Right.
Now, today, this guy is an employee. Now, while the father was the CEO of that company, if the father had made any of these transitions and had created a family business, this guy who is talking today, who is talking the employee quadrant, would have been able to pick up other skills in the family business. That's exactly what my children are doing today. My children have their 9-to-5 jobs, but they are members of the family business.
I like that, yes.
Okay, so in the family business, okay, we have 4 companies, one in Canada, 4 companies in Canada, one in Africa, one in the US.
Okay.
And my daughter, for example, is the group chief operating officer of all of these companies. Okay. Now, there are certain things that her employer will never allow her to do.
Yes.
She will never be in the boardroom.
Right.
Because she's just
an employee.
But in the family business, she's in the boardroom. She understands what the boardroom is all about. Okay.
Yes.
She's exposed, she's trained, now she does have 9-to-5. A time will come when she will like, you know what? I need to go back and run family business. Now, that is what we mean by, creating multi-generational wealth.
Okay.
You provide the wealth so that the wealth become a springboard for we don't call them next generation. We call them the rising generation.
Okay.
I will come back to that.
Yeah.
So if you don't do that, what it will simply mean is that you create the wealth, and then when you are gone, the wealth is gone, and guess what? Your children will go start from ground zero now.
Yeah.
So that is what we mean by creating multi-generational wealth. And for you to create multi-generational wealth, you need to pass 5 capital to them.
Yeah.
Okay. I won't go into all of that just because of our time.
Yeah.
Now, those 5 capitals are the things that they need to build on the wealth in your own lifetime, not when you're dead.
Okay.
And then they take it to another level. Let me quickly give you 3 examples.
Okay, that would be good. Yeah.
The first billionaire ever in the history of the US is the Rockefeller family.
Yes.
Rockefeller was the first billionaire ever in the history of the US. The Rockefeller family is in the 6th generation as we speak, and the wealth is still there. All the entities are still there. The foundations are still there. The Rockefeller family members go to do different things, but guess what? If they choose, they can come back into the company and work in the company.
Right.
Do you understand it?
Yes.
Now, imagine Rockefeller did what most of us do today. Go to work, and good paycheck, have good corporate title, and you retire. All of those 6 generations, they would have all just gone back to work, and there would be no wealth in the family.
Right.
So that's what we mean by creating multi-generational wealth.
Okay.
Now, so the question is, how do you create multi-generational wealth? Again, it all starts with transition. You need to transition.
Okay.
You need to transition your mindset. The mindset of the people who create multi-generational wealth is very different from the mindset of the people who do not.
What are some examples you've seen?
Okay, great. Let me give you an example. Okay, so we are Canadians. Okay, we are recording this in Canada.
Yeah.
You know Rogers.
Yes.
Okay. Rogers is a family, Rogers Communication.
Yeah.
They are in the 3rd generation. Rogers started with, Edward Rogers, who was the first, Ed Rogers, the first. He had a small company. And then his son took that company and diversified into media and all of those things and things like that, and took it to another level. And they are in the 3rd generation now. The executive chairman of Rogers today is still part of the Rogers family.
Wow, yeah.
What did they do? They structured their family trust in such a way that the shares they sold to the public are non-voting shares. So they still retain 90% of the voting shares. Statistic control.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's an example of. Now you also know enterprise rent a car.
Yes.
Enterprise rent a car.
Yeah.
That's Jack Taylor. Okay. The current person who is there is the third generation. Is the granddaughter of Jack Taylor.
Yeah.
Right. So you can see that pattern. But those people, 3 things distinguish them. The people who create multi-generational wealth. 1, they know what other people don't know.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
2, they have done what others have not done. And 3, they are connected to a group of people. And I'll speak about that in just, as we go into the, wealth preservation. They are connected to a group of people that other people are not connected to. The wealth creation game and the wealth preservation game, you win it with a team. A team creates wealth for you.
Okay.
And a team preserves wealth for you. So I just told you in our earlier conversation that if you don't understand the law of team, you can't create wealth.
Right.
But why is that important? Think about the 4 asset classes that create wealth: real estate, business, commodities, and paper asset. There is the skill set required, the time required, the amount of productivity required to translate each of these asset classes into something that would generate wealth is beyond an individual.
That's true. Yep.
Okay? It's beyond an individual.
Yeah.
So that's why, the stronger your team is, the better you will perform in the game of, creating wealth. Now, when you get to wealth preservation, which, by the way, the statistics in research says that about 90% of those people who create wealth spend less than 10% of their time thinking about how to preserve it.
Oh, okay.
And that is why the wealth enters into entropy. The wealth is dissipated. For some of your viewers who are familiar with Nigeria, you see some wealthy names that you used to know, Abiola family and all that. You ask yourself, where's the wealth today? Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas in this part of the world, people have created wealth that has lasted for so many generations because of those 3 things I told about. They know some things, others, they did some things, and they're connected to a group of people.
Yeah. I know you were going to talk about the connection to a group of people. Yes. Is it like networking? What do you have to say about that?
No, it's not networking. It's not networking, okay? The group of people, now, if you are talking about creating wealth, yes, networking is part of that. Yeah. You need to be able to network and things like that. But the group of people I'm talking about, okay, they're the group of people who preserve wealth.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's not every time that you meet a consultant who you probably have met another one, but there's a high chance that this is the first person you are meeting who is a consultant in wealth preservation.
Yeah, the first time.
Yes.
I'll say it, yeah.
is the same.
Yeah.
When our clients come around, they say, look, we haven't heard about it. So wealth preservation exposes you to a group of some experts who help you to preserve your wealth.
Okay.
And they do it through what is called the family business office. I'm sure you haven't heard it.
I've heard of family business office, but can you just, in case people...
So the family business, and the reason why I said, maybe you are better than me, because the day I got to hear it, I'm like, what is that?
Mine is just from research. I research a lot, so I know a lot of things. But yeah, can you just give...
What is that? Yeah. Now, the family business office, FBO, every wealthy individual, every wealthy family has a family business office. So in my family, our modest wealth that God has provided for us, we operate a family business office. And the reason why we do that is because we are consultants.
Yeah.
So we run our own family business office. And of course, we run family business offices for other wealthy families.
Yeah.
So the family business office is essentially it's a private practice where a firm specializes in helping wealthy families to help them to preserve their wealth for multi-generations. How do they do that? All of those things I told you about, they create structure around the wealth.
Yeah.
They prepare the beneficiary. Why? Because in the School of Wealth Preservation, poorly prepared beneficiaries perform poorly.
Yes.
So they prepare the beneficiary, they train the beneficiary, they do all of those things. They put trust in place, they help them with the foundation, they help them with, so that the wealth can be preserved.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so if you don't have such, the wealth will not be preserved. Okay? Wealth will never create itself.
Yes.
Wealth will never preserve itself.
Right.
All right. So that's what wealth preservation is all about. And now, the reason why most people are not exposed to it is that the firms who run FBO, we do that, by the way, they focus on people who have a certain level of wealth.
Yes.
Typically, 300 million and above.
Right.
How many people we have? So we started to say, okay, fine, let's bring the same service to people who have created. We also have a threshold, 5 million and above, 5 million,
okay, 5 million and above.
Yes, and above.
Yeah.
If you have a network of 5 million and above, but anything less
I'll come to you soon, by God's grace.
The reason is that, it takes some reasonable investments. Okay? What people don't understand is this. Now, when you go and write a will, you can do online, quickly write a will online, right? That's as if you want to put a trust in place. Okay? When you put a will in place for your wealth, the initial cost outlay is cheap.
Yes.
But the end of it is more expensive. Okay, you know why it is more expensive? Because every will passes through probate. And so exposes your wealth to both probate tax and capital gains tax and all the taxes.
Oh.
A trust does not pass through probate.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
What I mean by probate is that a probate is the process through which your will is validated in the court so that the executor can execute based on the will, so that the executor has the power of the court behind him or her. Okay? Whereas, wealthy people don't put their wealth in the will. They put it in a family trust. Okay?
Yeah.
That's the tool they use.
Okay.
And that family trust does not pass through probate. It gives you a lot of control.
Yeah.
Now, another distinction between a will and a trust is that a will can only be effective when you are dead.
Okay.
A trust can be effective while you are alive.
Okay.
So in the school of wealth preservation, while you are alive, you and your children can put the wealth in the trust. Okay.
Yeah.
It's called intra-vivos trust or living trust. That's a technical word.
Okay.
And integrate your children to build the wealth with you while you are alive.
Okay.
And in that process, you would have the opportunity to transfer. You remember I told you there are 5 capitals you need to transfer in order to preserve wealth.
What are the 5?
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I know you will let me go.
I wrote to the 5 capitals.
I always like the way you interview. I watch you. And every time your guest is talking, I'm like, Tobi is not going to allow that to go. You just did that now. Okay, you're an excellent interviewer. Moderator and all that. So thank you.
You can continue. I'll remember to ask you 5 capitals.
So 5 capital that you need to transfer. If you don't transfer those 5 capitals, okay, the wealth will enter entropy. So let me explain what entropy is. Entropy is a word from physics.
Yes.
Okay. Entropy is the disintegration of ice. So you know that for water to become ice, it needs to be in a particular condition.
Right.
And once the condition is, you relax the condition, that ice will melt. Think about your deep freezer, right?
Yes.
If you unplug your deep freezer, the ice will melt.
Yes.
Okay. So it has entered entropy. Now, there is an atmosphere. When wealth is created, the original creator of the wealth, in the school of wealth preservation, they are called the grantor. That's what you call them, as the grantor.
Okay. Quick pause before we jump back into the episode. This podcast is about building wealth on your terms, and for a lot of people, that includes real estate. So if you're interested in real estate and want to connect, check the link in the description box or show notes. If you find this podcast valuable and you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like button and subscribe button. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give us a follow and leave a 5-star review for us.
The grantor, and you know this very well, has gone through some discipline, has gone through some experience, has some, fortitude to be able to. Then the guy created the wealth.
Right.
It took many years and all that. He eventually went through thick and thin and all that. The mistake people do is that I don't want my children to suffer. I don't want them to go through what I've gone through.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
Yeah. Then you give the children, right? And then you just will it to them. In the school of wealth preservation, that is very disempowering. You have disempowered them. And the wealth will enter into entropy. Why? Because those 5 capital that you use to create the wealth, and I'll come to that. Yeah. You have not passed it to them.
Okay.
You haven't passed it to them. So they can't sustain the wealth.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
And there's a study in the US by the Gallup Group. Okay? And the study says 85% of those who inherit wealth, 85% of them, they lose that wealth. 85% of them.
That's a very high.
Yeah, it is a high percentage. Okay. So why is that so? Because the wealth will enter into entropy. The condition that created the wealth, that is the grantor, he's gone.
Yes.
His experience is gone. All his contacts are gone.
Yeah.
All of his mistakes are gone.
Yes.
There's nowhere it was documented, it wasn't passed. Okay?
Right.
And guess what? You now give the wealth to somebody, and the guy has not exercised creativity, has not exercised. There's a sad story of a German billionaire who was running their family business. And at that point in time, the family was the 6th wealthiest family in the world. And then the guy invested in Volkswagen shares. Unfortunately, the shares of Volkswagen wasn't doing well. So the value of their net worth dropped from 6th position to 9th position. He tried to rescue things. He went to apply for loan in the bank and all that. He couldn't get it. He was so depressed. Unfortunately, he committed. 2 weeks after he committed, the shares came back. Okay. The moral of the story is that he couldn't endure.
Wow.
But it was inherited wealth.
Oh, he was not the grand.
The people who, if his grandfather who created the wealth was around, the man will be able to withstand that pressure.
Yeah.
So he just took his life. Unfortunately, 2 weeks later, even the bank loan that he got got rejection for, the bank eventually approved the loan.
Wow.
Now, think about what we talked about earlier. Mindset, ability to, when something doesn't work, ability to keep going.
Yes.
Ability to endure, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't pass all of those, just pass the wealth will enter into entropy. So you understand what entropy is now.
Yes.
Let's go to those 5 things. What are the things you need to pass on? You need to pass on 5 things. And those things you don't pass them on. You need a family business office to help you do it. Because the first thing is you got to pass on the spiritual capital. Now, what do you mean by spiritual capital? It depends on who you are.
Yeah.
For a person of faith like me, spiritual capital simply means, what do we believe about wealth? We believe that wealth is a gift from God, and we are custodians, we're stewards to use it for the greater good. Okay?
Yes.
And in the process of creating wealth, we have values. We don't create wealth by cheating other people. So those are your spiritual capital.
Right.
And now, if you're not a person of faith, then you are talking about your values.
Yes.
What are the things you value?
Yeah.
You value honesty. You value integrity. You value all of those things.
Right.
You have to pass that on. Why is that important? Well, if you don't pass it on, 3 demons will show up in that family.
Okay.
Every place where wealth is created, 3 demons show up.
Oh.
And they are the demons of greed, selfishness, and pride.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the spiritual capital, by passing on that value, it will allow them to be humble.
Right.
That's why, my children went to Africa, and I told them, I said, look, when you get there, don't just look. That's where your father came from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we saw an orange seller by the road, and I told my children, I said, that used to be your dad.
Wow. Yeah.
And a little child was, playing with soil and all that, not properly dressed. I said, that used to be me. So you don't feel that you're superior to people. That's part of our own spiritual capital. Honesty, integrity, love in the family.
Yeah.
So that's your spiritual capital. Okay. You need to pass on those values. If you don't, I'll give you an example. As we speak, unfortunately, you can check, you can do the research. The Rogers family that I talked about earlier, there was a technical error that their father made in their family trust.
Okay.
And that family trust gave power over to the son, over the mother and the daughter. They ended up in court.
Wow. Okay.
So they will fight over the wealth if the spiritual capital is not passed on. So that's spiritual capital. The second capital that needs to be passed is your intellectual capital. Now, when we talk about intellectual capital, we're not talking about degrees and academics. We're talking about the knowledge that you use to create the wealth. Yes. For example, in our own family, because we run a family, we have a library. So all the books that I read, all the books that I read, they're all in that library. It's a virtual library. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we have a training program. Everybody that comes from my own lineage.
Wow.
Because my goal was to eliminate poverty forever in my lineage. Okay. Remember where I said I was, I came from. And I know that one big reason why we did not create wealth was because we did not understand. We didn't have that knowledge.
Yes.
So everything that everybody needs to know, we have a schedule, topic by topic by topic by topic, and each member of the family, you will see them. I check. I personally, because we are running our own, family business office.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's what a family business office will do for you. Okay, I taught my children, taught them, and the books are there, and they have made commitment in our own family constitution, which is part of the will, that they will teach my own grandchildren.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what are we doing? We are preserving the intellectual capital.
Yes.
So there will not be any financial illiterate in the family.
Yes.
So you need to pass that on. Now, another effective tool you use to pass it on is called the family business playbook.
Okay.
The family business playbook is a documentation of how was the wealth created. So, for example, we have 4 companies in Canada. We have another one in the US. We have one in Africa. How these companies were created, where we got the money from, how did we start, what mistakes did we make? They're all documented in the family playbook.
Yeah.
Right? You can imagine.
Yes.
So the 10th generation.
Wow.
And all of those things are in the cloud. So anywhere in the world, okay?
Yes.
Anyone who is part of this dynasty can access it. Remember the law of secrecy I told you about?
Yes.
Anyone who is not part of the dynasty cannot access it.
Yeah.
You get it now?
Yes.
Okay. So we've talked about spiritual capital.
Yeah.
Talked about intellectual capital.
Yes.
The third one is the social capital. What do we mean by social capital? Okay. So in our consulting practice, for example, every client that comes through our one-on-one executive consulting, they come with a problem.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm the lead consultant. It's a policy. We have to record it. You know how you call, RBC and say, oh, this call is being recorded for training purposes.
Yes.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Okay,
That's exactly what we're saying.
Yes.
So it's recorded. And long after I'm gone, my great-grandchildren to the 10th generation, they will see Wesley, the original Wesley. And where did I see all of these? That's what you remember. That's what I told you. Like, John Davison Rockefeller.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did.
Wow.
That's exactly what he did. 6th generation. and the original, what the man knew original. Of course, they will build on the knowledge,
Yes.
but the original one is preserved.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that is it. So we have our own family playbook. So people come to us and say, look, you know what? We do have a modest wealth. Our net worth is maybe 10 million and things like that. But all these things you're talking about, we don't have it.
Yeah.
You know, and you have said that poorly prepared beneficiaries perform poorly.
Yeah.
Okay, so fine. Well, you did not pass on those 5 caps. So we talked about spiritual capital.
Yeah.
Your spiritual capital are the things you don't have to be a person of faith, like, you know, in my own case, but just the things
values,
you believe
yes.
in the family.
Yes.
You believe in loving each other.
Yeah.
So my children are never going to fight
Right.
one another. Never. It's not going to happen.
Right.
Okay? Because they have been trained, part of the intellectual capital is called the dynamic beneficiaries credo of wealth preservation. I know I'm throwing in a lot of terminologies. You know, when you reach out to my team was asking, are you sure your audience is ready for this?
No, they are ready.
Okay.
Yeah. If I am, they are. Like, that's it. Yeah.
All right. So let me define what that means. So we're talking about I was talking about the spiritual. I went back to the spiritual
Yes.
capital. The spiritual capital is the things we believe.
Yes.
And one of the things that you need to, you know, include in your spiritual capital is what is called the dynamic beneficiaries credo.
Okay. What's that?
So what do we mean by dynamic beneficiaries? Beneficiaries, we know what that means.
Yes.
Somebody who benefits from the wealth that was created by the parents and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's a dynamic one. Why is it a dynamic one? That it's a dynamic one because this guy is not a victim of trust distribution. Okay. Trust distribution, when you put trust or will in place and say, hey, when I die, give a house to this, give a house to this. This guy doesn't know how a house is bought.
Yeah.
He probably won't bother because, of course, you've already given him a house.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
All right. You're better off if that is put in a trust, family trust, and while you are alive, you are all of what we've discussed.
Yeah.
You document, this is how we buy a house, and allow them to say, okay, fine, we're going to refinance one of the houses, and we're going to watch you people buy another one.
Right.
And you watch them do it.
Yes.
Guess what is going to happen when you die? They will keep buying houses.
Right.
You can get it now.
Yes.
So that is what we mean by a dynamic wealth beneficiary.
Okay.
It's not the guy who waits and say, I'm just waiting and then just
For it
give
to
me.
pass over. Yeah.
You know, because people who do that never do well.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
In Canada, for example, welfare is not designed for a permanent, it's just to tide you for a little while.
Right.
When you fall through the crack and then pick it up. Yes. But you know, some people, they enjoy to stay there.
Permanently on welfare,
they stay there.
Yeah.
And they never do well.
Yes.
Why? Because they are disempowered.
Yes.
They don't want to struggle, no drive. Well, money will just be coming from the government.
Right.
I'll just be enjoying the money and all that. And well, nobody designs that for you to make you wealthy.
Yes.
Okay. So dynamic beneficiary, okay, the credo is the commitments they make. And I will tell you what a credo is, because that's the credo for our own family. Our family, each person who becomes a beneficiary of what the grantor, my wife and I, the first generation, they make a commitment. And this is a commitment. They say, I will leave this better than it was handed to me.
Wow. Okay.
So they say that if my parents could think about me and think about my own unborn children, and they were not selfish in their lifetime, they thought about me and they equipped me to be able, not just hand it over, they equipped me to be able to do it. Okay. And one of the things we don't do in wealth preservation, we don't refer to the children as next generation. They are not next. Yeah. They're called the rising generation. Why is it rising generation? Every genuine parent, it's your prayer that your children will rise above you. True or false? Yes. So we never refer, my children are not next. Next presupposes that they are waiting on the line so that after you take your turn, then it will be next. No, they're never next generation. They are rising generation. Right. So the rising generation will make commitments to say, I will leave this world better than I met it.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So we've talked about the spiritual capital. We've talked about the
intellectual capital.
Intellectual capital.
Yes.
The third one is the social capital.
Yeah.
The social capital has to do with all of the important relationships, all the important relationships. Okay.
Yeah.
That are very strategic to the creation of the wealth.
Yes.
Okay. So take our own business, for example. Every business meeting that I have that is very important with the lawyer, with the accountant, with that. If it is on Zoom, we record it. So my children, after they are 9 to 5 or whatever, they come home, they watch it. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
The next day, my son can continue that conversation with that person.
Wow, yeah.
Do you understand it?
Yes.
Now? Okay. So they record it.
Yeah.
We record it. And we have a very rich library. So if you want to talk about legal issues now, and they will see the original Wesley dealing with the legal issues that bought the property, that set up the companies, and so on and so forth. We also outsource a lot of things. And when we bring experts into our own company, okay, for our own wealth, our own family business office, we don't have all the expertise. We also outsource. We make it's compulsory that we ask them that we need to record it.
Okay.
Okay, and we record it. So that is social capital. So they know who the lawyers are.
Yes.
They know who the accountants are.
Yeah.
They know who the property management companies are.
Right.
They know that. Not just knowing them, we do have on our own group, we have different groups on WhatsApp.
Okay.
We have a group called the owners group.
Okay.
Everything we talk about that is about the business.
Okay.
It's different from the regular when you talk about mommy's birthday, daddy's birthday, we're traveling, So it's strictly that.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we talk about whatever major thing has happened in the business, because they are not involved in the day-to-day as much as I and their mom.
Yeah.
We just update them and all that. And you need to listen to this. We hold what is called the annual family business retreat.
Wow. Okay. This is a serious.
So, I told you that the person who preserves wealth he knows some things others don't know.
Yes.
And has done certain things others have not done.
Right.
And is connected to the group. That's it. So our family business retreat, essentially, last week was our annual family business retreat for 2025. What does that look like?
I was just about to ask.
We check into typically Airbnb for a whole weekend.
Yeah.
And we have agenda, we have group activities, all of the companies I give. So since I'm still the group CEO, so the owners, think about a regular company where you have the board of, a board meeting, shareholders meeting. Okay, this time around, shareholders are so they are my wife and my children.
Yes.
So we go through every single entity. We review their financials. Remember I told you about the law of measurement.
Yes.
So we first measure the net worth of our family.
Yeah.
And we show them all the companies, all the properties, all the business deals. We show them year over year and explain why it decreased or why it increased. And then we go through each of the company, and each year we read 1 or 2 books together as a case study.
Yeah.
So some of the things I've shared with you here now, we've treated them there.
I could tell, you definitely do case studies.
Yes, we do a lot of case studies. We do a lot of case studies and we study that. So why is that important? Remember, we're passing on the intellectual capital to them.
Yes.
So we do. So those beneficiaries will do better than their peers, that their parents just left a house or 2 houses or even a company or shares, right? In a will or a trust.
Right.
Now, here's the very, very concerning statistics. In the School of Wealth Preservation, the statistics says that 8 out of 10 beneficiaries of trust say that the trust is a burden to their lives and not a blessing.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Why is that so? For many reasons, but I will tell you just 3. And we made sure in our own family, remember we have an advantage because we're consultants, so we understand it.
Yeah.
We made sure that we eliminate those, the first reason is that they are not educated. They don't know what is a family trust.
Yeah.
What is it about?
Right.
Okay. There are 12 distinctions between a family trust and a will. 12. And if you don't understand them, in our family, we always say this, and to our clients, when we take them and we are trying to educate their family and prepare them, that there are 7 people you need to be smarter than. You need to be smarter than 7 people in the space of your wealth.
Yeah.
You have to be smarter. Now, when we say you need to be smarter than them, we don't mean that you be academically. No, that's not what we're saying. You know your business and what you want more than they do.
Right. Yeah.
And one of them is your lawyer.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
If you go to a lawyer and say, okay, I want you to put a family trust in place for me, it's just going to use a template.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Right.
Yeah. But if you go there and you have been properly trained and you know those 12 distinctions, you'll be able to properly guide your lawyer.
Right.
In fact, you will make the lawyer's job a lot easier because you are very enlightened.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay. So that is one of those 7 people you want to be smarter than.
Okay.
The second one you have to be smarter than is the tax authority. Okay.
Yes.
And I know I'm speaking to the public. We have companies in Canada. We started our first companies is now 10 years old. In those 10 years, it has not paid $1 in tax legitimately. Now, why is that so?
Yeah.
You need to know, quote me, I'm a CPA. The tax code for most countries in the world, the tax code mirrored the US tax code because that's the largest economy.
Yes.
Now, quote me anywhere in the world. 90% of the tax code of the US is on how not to pay tax.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
The rest of the 10% is on how to pay. Now, 90% of the people relate to the 10%.
Yes. Yep.
The 10% code.
Right.
And guess what? The majority of those people are in the E quadrant.
Yes.
Okay? Elon Musk, for the first 10 years of that company, in fact, in 2024, 2023, Elon Musk, I mean, they paid, for many years, they paid 0 tax. So that's the second one you have to be smarter than.
Yeah.
The tax authority. For example, in the Canadian tax law, there's something called the rule of 21. You need to know how to beat the rule of 21. Now, just for your audience, so that I'm just not throwing, because that's not the intent. The intent is to share knowledge. The rule of 21 in the Canadian tax law says that when you put a trust in place, okay, the asset in the trust, right, on the 21st anniversary is deemed sold and bought back, which means capital gain tax liability.
Yes.
So how do you beat that? Okay. So again, you have to be smarter.
Just be mindful of time. Let's just talk about the last 2 capital, just briefly.
Yes.
What are the last 2?
The last 2 capital.
Yeah.
So we talked about spiritual capital. We talked about,
intellectual
capital. We talked about social capital. Yeah. Okay. Now, the 4th capital, which should have been the first one, is the human capital. The human capital means each member of the family. Okay? Each member of the family is given the training to know that you are very important. Your life is more important than everything in the family. All the wealth family possesses. That if we need to give up the entire wealth to save your life alone, we will, and start all over.
I like that, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Think about what happens as a Canadian, for example. I went to Africa to consult for a family, very wealthy family. And while we were going through that, I was trying to describe this concept of, the human capital. That it is, you give them a sense of belonging, that they are so loved and they are very much cherished in the family.
Yeah.
That the wealth of the family is to help them to be the best they can ever be.
Yes.
Okay? So I was trying to illustrate that, and I said, I carry 2 passports. I carry a Canadian passport and I carry a Nigerian passport. Yeah. And I said, do you know that with my Canadian passport, if there was to be a crisis in this city, and the Canadian government knows that there's a Canadian there, they can fly private jets.
Right.
Is that not so?
Yes.
Yeah, they will. Yes. That's what we mean, like the human capital. So everybody in that family feels a strong sense of worth, belonging. So that's the human capital. We take them, and there are certain things we need to take them through another. We first reviewed it with the parents and say, hey, this is what, do you believe this? Because we don't just want to say it. For me, my children are worth everything. Do you understand it?
Yes.
They're the reason why I came to Canada.
Right.
The reason why we started all over again.
Yeah.
My great-grandchildren, they are very important to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that is the case, then we take them through. That's the human capital. Then, of course, the last one is the financial capital.
Yeah.
All right. But if you just pass on the financial capital without all of those things, the wealth will enter into entropy. I hope that helps.
Yeah. Oh, that helps. Thank you so much for everything. We'll see how we can ever bring you back to the podcast. But just to close it out, I know people are going to find this so valuable. How can they connect with you, follow your work, your teaching, stuff like that?
All right. So we do have... First, let me talk about a lot of free resources that we have.
Yeah.
So if you go to High Income to Wealth website, that's our website, highincometowealth.com. I think Maria sent some things to you.
Yeah,
And also
I'll add that in the description box.
Highincometowealth.com. So you can see free resources, podcasts and things like that to continue to learn. They're all free. You can also follow us on YouTube. We do have High Income to Wealth. But if you really want to take your learning to the next level, we do have, when I was trying to transition, I had to pay different consultants for different things and all that. Someone to teach me tax, someone to teach me this, someone to teach me entity, When in hindsight, I'm like, okay, if I can put a course together that will, so we do have a course. We call it Foundation, Intermediate, and the Advanced module. So Foundation cohort. You can see that when you go to our website, highincometowealth.com. Yeah. If you drop
and I'll link all of those in the description.
Yes, you will see that there. And and if some of your members of your audience are interested, how to get across to our global program manager, can help them to enroll. In addition to that, of course, we run a family business office. It's obvious. You have a family, you want, or you are a professional there and you're like, what, I just need a one-on-one. You can also reach me you can find information on wesleyogude.com, and our contact details are also with you. I think is High Income to Wealth.
I'll put in the description box. Don't worry. I know that's
help me to do all of that.
I'll put in the description box. Well, thank you so much for being here. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe. If you're listening on any podcast platform, give us a follow and a 5-star rating. Thank you so much.